One of the worst feelings as an artist is having a song idea but needing someone else just to bring it to life. Learning basic production gives you the ability to get ideas out quickly, build a simple drum groove or melody, make changes to a beat, and communicate your vision more clearly to producers and engineers. Now, you don't have to aim to be a full-time producer, but the more you understand, the less dependent you are on other people, and the more creative control you have over your own music. So in this video, I'm going to give you the 5 reasons why artists should still learn basic music production. Make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this video because this is information that you may not find anywhere else. As a producer for over 12 years, I've recorded artists in person, sold beats online, have music on different networks. So I've seen a lot, I've worked with a lot of artists, and there's a lot of perspective that I can give back to you right here for free. So without further ado, let's get into it. Reason number 1 is you can get ideas outside of your head. So for a lot of recording artists, what I've noticed is that a lot will get different beats from YouTube or BeatStars, write a song to it, but they're not quite married to that actual beat that they wrote the song to. They just wanted to get the emotion out. So artists, you guys will have like a notepad with just different song ideas, just sitting there in your phone. Maybe you do the little voice recorder thing. I know you're doing it. You do the little voice recorder thing just to record and have that idea there, but you don't quite have a home for that particular song. It's like the beat or the instrumental that you found online was good enough just to get the idea out, but it doesn't quite hit the nail on the head. So whenever you learn basic production, even if you just get a couple loops off a splice, you start to learn how to just program basic chords, little melodies here and there. You can have just like a basic foundational idea, and from there you can take it to a producer. Maybe you go to a recording studio, there's an engineer there, and that engineer happens to know how to make beats. You can have a basic demo, basically a version 1 of the final song that you actually want to have, and then you can actually get into the studio and have someone actually help you develop that actual beat. I've had artists have song ideas, and then we just built the beat from scratch right here in my studio. It's definitely something that's rewarding, but the more information, the more actual foundation they already have, the better. Just kind of humming and you know, just hitting my keyboard right here and just kind of just tapping things tends to not help me too much, but if they have like a basic scratch idea, that would help me so much more. So learning basic production can just help to create the foundation of the final song that you actually want developed, as opposed to just kind of flying blind, spitting out ideas and hoping a producer that you're working with can get something close to it. So the more that you help us help you, help us help you, the better. The better the final song for the fans who are going to listen to the music. All right, reason number 2 is that you can communicate with producers better. So if you understand the foundations of productions, it's just going to make that line of communication much easier. So if you have an issue with a particular beat or song, you know how to express that more directly. You could say something like, you know, those keys have way too much reverb on it. Can you turn down the reverb on those keys? Or that snare just has way too much high end. It's actually hurting my ears. Can you kind of take off some of the high end on that snare? So you can actually communicate these different things because you understand the foundation, you understand the tools, you understand what's actually happening, and you don't have to be an expert on all these things, but just having that baseline knowledge is just going to make it easier to communicate with other producers, whether it's just talking about a particular beat, or if you're in the studio working with a producer or an engineer, you guys are messing around with maybe a track outs of a beat that you've already leased from a producer, and you can lease a beat from me at DesmondAbeats.com. So go ahead and go there, get some of my beats. But aside from that, it's just making the process much easier because you understand the lingo, and the more that you understand, the more that you can customize and tailor make the actual beat to the vision that you have as a recording artist. All right, and the third reason that artists should still learn basic music production is that it makes you less dependent on other people. So as recording artists, a lot of you guys are dependent on leasing beats online Some of you guys are stripping those type beats off of YouTube. I know you're doing it. I see you in the studios doing it. But if you have an idea and you feel like you absolutely have to lease a beat that makes you somewhat dependent on other people, you know, we're all dependent on other people as human beings, of course. I'm not saying that we shouldn't rely on other people, but I'm saying that it gives you just more options if you learn the basics of music production. Once again, you could create your own basic structure of a final song that you actually want to make, and maybe eventually you keep working at it and you get good enough to where you feel confident that, okay, this is the actual final beat that I'm going to release for my own music, my own song. Maybe I find a producer online who can help touch things up, maybe pay them a fee to help fix certain things to make it sound a bit better, and then you could do it that way. But at the end of the day, you already had that version 1. So if you are needing help with the production process, you want some hands-on assistance, make sure you check out the link in my description and book a one-on-one Zoom coaching call with me. I'll be glad to take a look at your DAW, do a screen share, listen to what you have going on, maybe check out some of the sounds that you have going on, and basically help you streamline the learning process, as opposed to you just kind of searching around different tip videos and asking people online or maybe even in person. We can just get that total focus time together. So make sure you check out that link in the description, book a Zoom coaching call, and I'll be glad to help you out. And another point on being less dependent on other people for the music production process is it helps you to learn how to fix basic problems that are going on. So some artists aren't even at the point where they know how to basically extend verses, maybe change the intro to the outro, and just kind of move things across the grid in whatever DAW that you're using. So if you have to constantly ask a producer to do that, then you know that could be a bit tricky, especially if you're leasing a beat and the producer that you leased the beat from isn't quite communicative. They're not responding to emails, they don't quite understand customer service, and that they need to still communicate with people even after a beat is leased. You know, you don't have to be so dependent. You'll understand how to drop the beat into a DAW, line up the beat on the grid, match the tempo, and learn how to cut different sections and move them to however you'd like. And reason number 4 is AI will always be limited. In comes the AI comment, little bots, little robots, I know you're coming. So AI will always be limited. So what do I mean by that? AI still doesn't understand emerging trends and nuance when it comes to music and when it comes to things that people actually like. Well, even at the end of the day, us as humans, we don't even understand sometimes why we like certain things. So what's good yesterday may not necessarily be good tomorrow. Something that sounds good to the ears today may be bad. So we might like things that sound bad tomorrow, even though it sounds good today. And that's what happens when it comes to these new genres, subgenres, cultural trends that happens when it comes to music making. And if you're a recording artist learning how to produce, you could be playing yesterday's game. You could be learning yesterday's process, being totally dependent on AI and not quite know it. So in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that what's cool, what people gravitate towards today may not be what they gravitate towards tomorrow. And you could be just programming and prompting things that are just essentially lame, essentially something that people aren't actually going to like. It's just the AI is trying its best to help you out in this process because it's essentially doing all it knows. On top of that, another thing that's going to come with being dependent on AI is the copyright issues that are currently occurring right now, because AI is training on the open internet and also different people's catalog without consent, and then you're going to be using that to create your own production. And if something starts to catch and someone starts knocking at your door looking for some type of payment, you know, what can you do? AI scrapes the open internet and just gives you what it gives you. And these platforms are indemnifying themselves, meaning that they're passing all the responsibility between you and the person or the group that they trained off of. So so you two will have to litigate amongst each other. So you don't want to run into that in the future. You still need to know basic music production to make the AI prompts sound good. So just because you know how to type certain things in and get it to spit something out doesn't mean that you quite know how to structure things and put them together in a way that sounds good to other people. All right, and reason number 5 is that you have more creative control when you learn how to produce. So if you lease a beat or you just have someone who makes a beat for you, you can learn how to change the key of the beat. You can learn how to switch the drums of the beat. You already know how to reprogram things, how to change the swing, how to mute the drums that you are given and add something else in there. Maybe you want to sample some drums. You'll know how to place things in there in a way that sounds good to you. You'll know how to switch the drum groove up at a certain point because you know you want to create tension. These are things that you won't require someone else to do for you. You can start to experiment and do things on your own and run into what I like to call happy accidents. You didn't know that doing the thing is going to inspire you to write this other thing, but you would have never came across that if you didn't get in there and actually start to do things on your own. So having that creative control it's going to make you a stronger artist. You don't have to aim to be the next Wheezy out of here or Southside or Brian Michael Cox or anything like that. You could just aim to learn the basics of music production just to help you make better songs as a recording artist. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe. My name is Desmond A, and I'll be back with more great videos. Peace. Wait, before you go, make sure you go to DesmondASounds.com where you can get free FL Studio patcher plugins, free loops, free guides, everything you need to level up your music production. Once again, go to DesmondASounds.com or click the link in the description. Go there now and totally transform your music production. You've watched the tutorials, downloaded the sounds, and spent hours on that beat, and it still doesn't sound the way you imagine. Maybe your drums don't hit, your melodies sound boring, or you keep second guessing every decision. And if you're an artist making your own beat, you may have the song idea, but the production keeps getting in the way of making a fire song. In my one-on-one Zoom coaching sessions, we'll work directly on your music and identify what's holding you back. And I'll give you a clear plan to improve. Don't wait any longer. Don't watch another tutorial video. Go ahead and click on the link in the description right now and book your one-on-one Zoom coaching session today.